Well, everyone, this is the shenanigans of what it looks like of Zachary and I getting ready to start seeds. We have two doggies here. We have one in surgery recovery, and we have Mr. Mookers with us again, and us trying to gather all of our thoughts. So here we go. Hey friends, welcome back to Coal Country Homestead. I'm Samantha, and you'll see Zachary shortly. Today we are going to be starting seeds, and before we get into all of the seed starting that'll be happening behind me, I thought I would tell you a little bit of how I come into this and what I do for seed starting. So as Zachary has explained before, he's more of the hands in the dirt, and I'm more of the behind the scenes, and it works for us. So you have seen me before and Zachary before talk about our seed binders and how we organize our seeds. So I'm not going to dig too deep into that, but each of these binders has various seeds. Some have just peppers, some have just tomatoes, and some of them are mixed as to what we have in it, but they're all organized. So that is step one essentially for us, is taking inventory, seeing what we have, and then we schedule what we are going to start when. So today we are going to be working on these items here. I'm sure you probably don't have a real close-up of that, but we're going to be working on these, and we schedule this by our weekends. So we figure out the starting time for them. We do this in a various ways. We look at our past starting dates and what has worked for us, and we compare that to the Farmer's Almanac suggested dates, and we blend there what has worked for us and what we want to try going forward. So that's how we figure that out. And then when we actually start our seeds, we have trackers, and I have revamped our tracker just a little bit. In the past, I used this generic planting tracker, and honestly, I'm not sure where I sourced this, so I can't really be real helpful with that. But I kind of made it work for our needs and changed things up there. And then I had these that I just drew out for our actual trays to mark where and what we were planting. This year I have upgraded us to a improved system, and that is our own personal planting tracker. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so you can really see this in detail. All right, so on here I have, obviously in big bold letters, planting tracker. We have our date planted, and then we have a code. So every seed that we start, I will assign it a code. And then we enter the number planted, the type. So if we are planting tomatoes, I would put tomato there. The source is where it was purchased. Like for example, Aurora Seeds, if it's their brand, I would put Aurora there. And then the variety may be Roma, just for an example. So I would create a code based on that information and assign it that code here. And that code will follow this seed to planting in the garden as to where we're planting it, and we can always identify exactly what it was with this information. Now this is used in conjunction with this. So this is a diagram of our seed starting trays. And on here, I would have, again, the date planted, the tray number, the tray color, because we have various colored trays, and then row 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth, down to row 10. We know that our trays hold a total of 50 of the seed starting soil blocks. And Zachary has shared with you the recipe for that. So if you haven't watched that video and you're interested in the soil blocks, I'll be sure to link it down below. But we'll have a playlist as well of all of our seed starting. So I will be sure to make sure that you have access to that. But here is where I would enter the code for whatever it is that we're planting in each cell to be able to trace it. Now to show you this kind of all together, I'm going to show you an example from last year. This was before I updated our sheets, but here, maybe one that is all various things. This one's perfect. So this was last year's, and this was the planting tracker and the tray for hot peppers specifically. So this was tray 5. The tray color was orange. We started these on March 20th. And then here you have all of the various codes for each thing that was started. And you can reference it on this side of the sheet binder, showing that, for example, JAAP1 was started on 3/20. We planted 5 of them. And this was from Seeds of Change, SOC, and it was a jalapeno pepper. So that's as detailed as I was able to get last year. And this year is going to be even better. I do not know, since I do not have an actual website yet, if I will be able to share all of these with you, but I'm going to see if there's a way that I can put these in like a PDF on our Facebook page. If I can, I will insert a link in the description. If I find out that there's no way for me to do that, I'll also note that for you. But this has worked great for us in being able to reference, and then from here we plan where we're going to plant everything in the garden itself. So that's all I have on this side, unless, Zachary, do you feel like I left anything out there?
Nope, I think that's pretty good.
All right, so we're going to get started. The first step for today is for us to look at each specific thing. Like, we want to start broccoli today. So we're going to figure out exactly the varieties of the broccoli that we want to start. And once we figure that out, we'll start, we have a dog moving you. We will start planning that on the tracker and get the seed starting mix mixed up. So here we go. Figured it out, if you can understand all that chicken scratch. We figured out that we're going to be starting 4 varieties of broccoli, 4 varieties of cauliflower, 4 varieties of cabbage, 2 varieties of Brussels sprouts, and so on and so forth is what that little number means. Now, the number that I have in parentheses is saying how many plants total we'll be starting. So we're going to do 5 of each of the cauliflower, so that'll give us 20. And then we go from there. So we know for certain, noisy one over there, we know for certain that we need enough soil mixed to do a minimum of 3 trays of soil blocks. And then we'll be using some smaller, like, plug trays, right, Zachary? Yep. Plug trays for the different herbs and onions and leeks. And then we have to directly sow 5 different types of radishes outside. So we'll figure out how many we're going to be starting each of those. And then tomorrow is hot and sweet pepper day. So Zachary is going to mix up the soil, and I'm going to go add some layers because it's cold down here.
Okay guys, so this is the start of our system. So we decided which varieties and then how many of each variety we're going to plant, and then we kind of try to figure that out before we start planting based on our 50 spots in each tray of soil blocks. So we usually try to do an even number of rows, or
that's why I do this side of things. So we've assigned it a code. So, like, for example, this one is BRC1, which really translates to broccoli and variety 1. We're doing 5 of them because each row takes 5 soil blocks. So that way we can have one full row. It's broccoli. It's from Emma Gardner, and it's the Calabrese or Calabrese, however you pronounce that, variety. And that'll be our entire row 1 on our tracker, which this is the tracker, and I have learned to never write anything on here until Zachary is actually putting the seeds in the seed block, because inevitably it'll end up out of order and you have to redo the whole thing. So this is all ready to go. As you see, I have it marked: broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. Tray 1, tray color is green, green trays. Today's date is 3/18. And as you see on here, we have this little squiggly at the top. That's to signify to us which is the top of the tray. So all of our trays have a little squiggly mark or line on the top with permanent marker. You see it there, and you also see it there. So that's what you're going to see us do. We're going to try to talk a little bit about each thing that we're planting and, you know, why we're interested in it, I think. What you also didn't see is that we went through our binder and we marked each thing that we were planting, or we just put a little tag where we were doing all of them. So Zachary, why do we do separate tables? Because people probably think that's weird.
There's not enough room.
Well, my stuff is like paper and meat and seeds, and your stuff is messy and wet, so. Okay.
Can I have the cap to that black pen?
For the black pen?
The other black pen.
This one?
Yep. It doesn't have a thing on it. Do you have one with the thing on it? No? I'll just use the knife. All right.
So that's tray 1?
Yep. Should probably mark the numbers again. They're starting to fade.
Favorite markers.
Yeah,
actually, theirs are resealable. And my gardeners are resealable. I have seen that people have been reclosing their seed packets using like washi tape. You know, that little like tape, like the craft tape like the girls have used. You know, it's like decorative. It's like pretty thin. I don't know. I've been seeing that, but these are resealable. Theirs are resealable ish. Oh, you do have scissors here. So that is the Calabrese.
Yep, Calabrese. So this is like a basic supermarket broccoli, I guess, like the type you'd see in the store. So we're going to plant these 1/4 inch deep.
So this one will probably be the most non-adventurous person's broccoli.
Right. Do you think I should plant more than one in each hole? Or do you think we can get away with it?
There's a lot in here, so I think it doesn't hurt.
Alright. So I guess we're going to plant 2 in each hole. I mean, I'm usually not a fan of like coming back and thinning things out. I usually trust the germination in most of the stuff we're using, and we usually have, you know, close to 100% germination rate. So I usually don't have to worry about planting extra in each and coming back and thinning it out. So I think I'm probably just gonna just do one. Okay. And these don't take that long to germinate, so. 10 days. So we're gonna put those in our little rivets, divots, divot, rivet.
Which the soil blocker makes for you.
Yep.
That little
dibbler on each one of the soil blocks. So you get a nice 1/4 inch hole, which usually does pretty good for almost about everything. And if I need it a little deeper, then I poke it down with something. If I need it a little shallower, I just kind of fill it in a little bit, or just put a little bit of dirt over the dibbled hole.
The next one is Broccoli Rob.
Broccoli Rob, also from M.I. Gardener.
So this one says it has an intense flavor and foolproof growth habit. Where other broccolis fall short, this variety is able to be eaten stem, leaves, and all. Best if soaked in a bit of salt water and quickly sauteed with wine to remove bitterness. They're cold tolerant, of course, and it's great for small places. The whole thing is edible. We have Renee's Garden, Long Harvest Blend.
So this is from Renee's Garden, and this one is actually a mix of early, mid, and late maturing varieties. So not sure what we're gonna get here.
I think it tells you the variety. Well, 3 varieties. David Rathner. The container-friendly variety.
Baby broccoli. barely any seeds in this thing. So this variety is from Bonnie. It's from like a big box store like Lowe's. So I'm planning on kind of doing like a intensive space planting of our coal crops this year. Normally I do, you know, like probably 16 or 18 inches apart, maybe even more. And I think the broccolis can be much closer. Broccolis and cauliflowers. Cabbages, depending on the variety, they can get, the leaves get real big, but they can also still be kind of mushed together. I've seen a lot of people doing real intensive planting of cabbages and broccolis and stuff. So I think this year we're gonna try to give that a shot.
So that's our 4 varieties of broccoli.
All right, so that's it for the broccoli.
20 plants.
20 broccoli plants.
Cabbage. Now cabbage, you've definitely realized that the purple is much more resistant to bugs.
Right. Yeah. So your purple cauliflower, purple cabbage, those types of colored items are going to be more resistant to bug damage. Some of our regular cabbages really get eaten by like the cabbage worms or like those moths, and end up being kind of hard to deal with sometimes. But the purple one definitely basically was kind of bug free, right?
Yeah. We don't like protein with our cabbage. And this one is Red Express. Now this one is from Baker Creek, and they have noted on here that this has a low germination rate.
Oh, so I should definitely double these up.
It says overpacked due to low germination, 61% germination rate, which is nice that they've identified that and give extra.
Yeah, here, I'll put 3 in these holes just in case. It's that, that's pretty low, 61%.
Now watch, all of them will germinate.
Probably. Was that 1/4 inch deep?
This one's 1/4 inch.
I can't wait to see these little greens coming up. I feel like it's been forever. I'm excited to start caring for the plants again, but then 3 months from now I'll be like, oh my god.
What did I do? Then we have Barry Morse cabbage, the Copenhagen Market Early.
Yeah, so this one is like a big leafed cabbage.
Great for sauerkraut. This is a new one. The Napa cabbage. My gardener.
So the next two cabbages we're planting are going to be new for us, and we specifically got these because Angelina requested kimchi this year. So we looked up some of the best cabbages for kimchi, and Napa cabbage was one of the favorites.
And kimchi is a way of preserving the cabbage without having to actually can it, like a refrigerator. Ferment is the word I'm looking for. I gotta give it to the girls. They're both pretty adventurous. We're lucky with that. How's your soil smell?
Sounds good.
Are you a soil sniffer?
So this one is the Chinese Michili,
Michili, I think.
I thought that I had ordered a specific one from Baker Creek or at my gardener.
These are both from my gardener.
That one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought this was the other one.
The one that you just planted and this one are both from my gardener. I think. Oh no, this one's from Aurora. The last one that you just planted was from my gardener. These are from Aurora Seeds, which shout out to Aurora as always for offering a discount code to all of you. If you shop on their website and enter our code, which is COAL10, you receive 10% off of your order. So if you're not in Pennsylvania, you can still shop from them.
And be sure to take advantage of that, especially right now. They have their potatoes.
Potatoes and onions.
Yep, their seed potatoes and onions and stuff. So definitely a good time to take advantage of that 10%.
I was tempted to have us go on a road trip when I saw the varieties they have. They have a lot of varieties. Maybe I shouldn't show you the variety.
Probably not. Don't get me started.
Brussels sprouts. One of my favorite vegetables. I'm really excited about these ones.
So far we've been, I'd say, unsuccessful with Brussels sprouts. Last year they did grow into actual Brussels sprouts. I wasn't sure how or when to harvest them, so I kind of let them go, and then they started kind of looking like they were getting some bug damage, so we ended up not using them. But they did grow to be like 2 foot tall and actually have Brussels sprouts on them, so I think I just have to be more mindful of when they're ready for harvest, and actually look at like the harvest days to harvest on the packet and go off of that. A lot of times I just kind of, look at something in the garden and think, okay, well, I can let it get bigger, when in reality it's actually time to harvest it. So I think that's something I need to work on.
But Brussels sprouts are often easier the smaller they are. So as soon as we see that they're like
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they were like, you know, at least bigger than a quarter, some of them. So I guess I should have just pulled it. I think I did have one when I was out there. I picked one off and ate it, and it was good.
I don't know how I feel about a raw.
Yeah, they're fine.
But the canned Brussels sprouts with these. I'm excited to have like a couple rows on the shelves of the canned Brussels sprouts, and I'm hoping that we can use ours. This one is ideal for first timers.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like this one is what we had last year, and it can yeah. See, and I think this is where we're going wrong. Is we're planning it for it's gonna go into the summertime and then be in the heat. It's better if you plant Brussels sprouts in the middle of summer, and then after the first frost, that's when they get really good.
For fall harvest.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that too, but we're still.
Yeah. So
that's why we're only doing a total of 10 plants for the summer part of it.
Right. So I think if this one doesn't work out again this year, then I think we'll just do the midsummer planting and then do it the right way.
And Brussels sprouts are very much like cabbage and like root. Obviously, cabbage and Brussels sprouts are not a root vegetable, but they store very well, just like root vegetables do. So they can be kept in the fridge or a root cellar pretty long over winter. And that's us. We have a trade-in.
Yay!
Stay on. All done. So this is what the cracker essentially looks like after we've planted everything. So we have our rows and our columns, and we base it essentially on the rows. So we have, you know, broccoli 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And then this goes in the binder next to the other paper to reference, and that's how we do celery, bok choy, and cauliflower.
Okay, so next up is tray number 2, which is going to be celery, bok choy, and cauliflower. So Sam wanted me to show you this Trinity soup starter as an example of how to preserve celery, because a lot of people don't really know what to do with celery besides use it fresh. But you can do like the soup starter, and then you can also freeze it if you wanted to, but freezer space is, you know, limited in most cases, and kind of preserved for more important things like meats and stuff. But you could freeze it and put it in Ziploc bags or vacuum sealed or food saver bags. And then the other thing you do is also dehydrate it.
Yeah.
Or freeze dry it if you had a freeze dryer.
But I like the Trinity because, well, and a Trinity, for people who don't know what a Trinity is typically celery, carrots, and onions. And that starter could be used for soups, but it also could be like for stuffings.
Oh yeah, for
or
sure.
Anything like that, and it's already just like quick, ready to go. So our first one is Utah Tall.
Can I see another one of those?
Another one.
The packets. I need to see the back of one.
Also like celery powder with the leafy part of the celery.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that celery might be one that possibly needs some light to germinate. So we gotta check that. But these just basically get just kind of pressed into the soil, basically. Like, you don't want these too deep. I just want to surface sow them, maybe just sprinkle a little bit of dirt over top of them.
It says best in cool, wet conditions. And you harden plants by reducing water for 1 week prior to transplant.
They're so tiny.
Mm-hmm. I like the smell of celery seeds.
So with these, they're just so tiny. I'm just gonna sprinkle, 5 or more over the area. And this is one that I don't really feel like you have to thin out. I feel like they grow just fine, kind of bunched together a little bit.
We grew these in the raised bed last year.
Yeah, and they ended up they were the last thing that was growing. It was celery, beets, leeks, and there was something else in there.
Well, we did an experiment too, remember? Because that was the way.
Yeah, she chopped the celery totally down to the soil level, and then we thought that it was done, but it ended up coming back even bigger. Like it was the closest thing to real celery that we've grown.
Store celery.
Right. And then the frost came, and I think it actually survived a couple frosts, like late frost, until it got real cold, and then I didn't get out there in time to grab it, but it definitely grew back for a cut and come again type of celery. Baker Creek's Daleen, or Aileen, whatever you call it. Yeah, I remember it. It was like real small, scraggly stalks. This is the third one, right?
And is our plan to grow these in the raised bed again this year?
Yeah, I think so.
I like the raised bed because I think it makes harvesting them nice. Convenient. Bingo. That's row 4.
Oh, I barely had any in here. Okay, that's all of those.
That's all of them. That's not very many seeds. Then we have bok choy, winter choy.
Bok choy.
I'm excited for bok choy because we haven't cooked with bok choy. We haven't used bok choy at all.
Yeah, that's yummy.
How did you have bok choy? Where do you have bok choy?
I used to try it when we had it the first year.
Well, this says that there were supposed to be 50 seeds in here. Purple lady bok choy?
Purple lady bok choy.
Baker Creek.
This is the one that we grew the first year.
you fight with it. The easiest way is to your fingers not allow you to do this. You fold it and put it. Cauliflower. Purple of Sicily.
This is cauliflower, purple of Sicily from Baker Creek. Has that nice deep magenta purple color. And this one does well with pests.
I can put it back in the bag.
Next we have Snowball Cauliflower, and this is from Penn State. If you guys haven't seen our other videos where we talk about the Penn State Seed Bank, it's a free resource for communities to go on and select. They have a whole selection that gets bigger every year as people save seeds and bring them to them.
And I think you have to be in Pennsylvania to get them. I'm not positive about that, but I think it's specifically for Pennsylvania.
Well, it's Penn State.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so like if someone's watching this in a different state.
Right, it's a Penn State University thing, and I'm sure that other states and other colleges have similar programs. But basically, it's free to choose whatever varieties you want. So you send them an email of the varieties that you like, and then they mail out the free seeds to you. And the only condition is that you're supposed to help expand the seed bank by saving seeds and mailing them to them so that the seed bank can grow. So our plan this year is to save a bunch of different heirloom seed varieties and send them to Penn State to really expand the varieties with, things that not everybody gets to grow or, sees at the store. We're going to try to do some unique stuff.
And give back because it helped us get started.
Yeah, so it's a really good way to start a garden if you're low or on a budget and you don't really have the means to spend $100 on seeds from an online company or whatever. And it's a good way to just get started.
I'm really excited to try that.
This is the Romanesco cauliflower, so it's like the one with those cool little spikes on it. It almost looks like a kaleidoscope or something. Like it's so unique the way it grows. So we haven't actually tried this one before, so this is one of those exciting varieties. And that was from Seed Savers Exchange.
And we got that at Aurora.
That's from Aurora Seeds.
This one I'm excited for too. This one says it's an Italian variety with 2-pound bright green apple colored heads. Which is cool looking.
Yeah, this one's another really cool one. This one's from Baker Creek. It's called the Green Macerata. And if you didn't know, they actually have all kinds of different colored cauliflowers. They have green. They have one called Clementine, which is like a bright orange one. They have the purple one, white ones. I think there's a yellow one. So lots of cool stuff that you could be trying out in your garden.
And what would you say is one of our favorite ways to have cauliflower?
I mean, I like it roasted, pickled.
The pickled cauliflower.
Yeah.
Do I have any handy?
Up there.
So we just moved everything around. This one is information. Here's an example.
So there's an example of our pickled cauliflower that everybody really likes. So that's an idea for you to, a way for you to store your cauliflower, preserve it.
It goes really good on.
Yeah, it's really good for charcuterie board and stuff like that, or just snacking. It's just really good. All right, so there we have a full tray 2. Everything is done in here, and I just want to double check with the seeds that you're going to be surface sowing or just lightly sowing. You always want to check and see if they need light for germination. So it says that celery needs light to germinate. So that means that I'm going to be putting them underneath the grow lights right away, even though the rest of the items don't need light to germinate. The celery does, so it'll be okay if the other items get light. It's not going to hurt anything. So usually as soon as they pop up out of the soil, that's when you would turn the lights on. But for some varieties, you kind of need the light right away. So we will put this in there.
That's 2 trays though, so the next one is a plug tray. Move on to.
Okay, so we're going to go find our plug trays and get this other one in the grow area, and then we'll come back and start that. Okay, for this next tray, we're doing plug trays. So we have 72 cells here, and I have them filled up with our dirt. Now for this, you want to do this dry, and then you want to come back and water before you set your seeds in there. My sprayer seems to not be working this year. Not holding pressure correctly. It's not holding pressure. That should be good enough for starting our next seeds. Gonna get this other tray ready while I'm waiting for Sam. So when you're using the small cell trays like this, it becomes a little bit of an issue not sifting the soil to a fine medium. Has our regular mix for our soil blocks has sticks and stuff in it. So you just gotta kind of pick those out as you see them. If it becomes a problem and it's kind of wedged in the hole weird, but for the most part, it's not really going to be an issue. You just kind of want to spread that around and get to all your holes filled up nice. And you kind of want to pat it down a little bit. I like to go and through each cell and just press down lightly with my fingers. This is just gonna kind of help with the settling of, watering over the next couple days. As you water, the soil is going to go down and settle, so you don't want it to settle too deep down in the hole. So just kind of give it a light press, and then fill those divots that you just made in. I'm going to wipe our excess off. All right. Might as well water this one down in. So I like this type of water for after the seedlings kind of emerge out of the soil a little bit. And once they get a little bit of root establishment, then I'm not too really worried about the soil eroding or you know, knocking the seedling loose or anything once it has some roots established. And then I kind of do a combination of bottom watering and top watering, and that's what kind of works for us. But normally I just start with a real light mist on top, just to get the top layer moistened, so that seed is touching some moisture. And then I'll do a little bit of bottom watering, and then I'll do, like I said, a combination of both as time goes on. And that seems to work out pretty well. All right, so we got both of these ready. So we're just waiting on Sam to come back down with our new sheet that she's printing out for the 72 cells instead of the 50 cells. Okay, what are you eating? Yeah, there. So we'll be back in a minute.
This is the tracker for this style tray that we have. It has the 72 blocks, and it is divided just like the tray is. So there you have it. This one's going to be chives, onions, and leeks. Isn't that? How many chives do you want to do?
I see the leeks say plant the 1/4 inch deep. This says 1.5 inches, and this says 3 to 6 inches. And it's 3 to 6 inches deep.
I'm gonna have to bleep you out.
Oh.
I don't even know how to do that.
Whoopsies. All right, so do you want to do half leeks, half onions, or 1/4 leeks, or 1/3 leeks, 2/3 onions?
I think that we should do chives, leeks, onions.
So you only want this many leeks?
I think that's pretty many. I mean, they're large, right?
And they're at least a foot tall and an inch thick.
I think that's good.
I feel like you need more.
Let's do a whole tray. I would so do. Okay, so should we just do chives in this one and then do 5 leeks? And then 6 onions? Because the bunching onions, we want the most of that.
Yeah, and then I can plant heavy the bunching onions.
Yeah.
And the chives.
Same with the chives. Right. Yeah. And these are American seed chives, which is not part of the name that should now be mentioned. It is not part of that. Not part of it. So, this is always a hot topic on any Facebook group that I'm in. When someone says they bought an American seed packet, everyone's like, ah!
So you're sure?
Yes, because if you read the back, and I've done my research, it very specifically says plantationproducts.com. And if you look them up, I believe they also own Seeds of Change. I have to look that up to double check that. but they are not part of
Monsanto.
the bad guys.
You say so. So I'm just making a diblet with my handy dandy dibbler. You can use anything, but I find that household items really work well depending on what you want to, what size dibble you want. You can use some kind of spice bottle for big dibblers and pens for small dibblers, and there's all kinds of stuff you can use. Where's the scissors at? Oh, yeah.
Some more in there.
Yeah, I thought I was going to use them all, but then there ended up being a lot more than I thought. Okay, so that's the top left 6.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm doing these 5, right?
You're doing those 5, but we have variety.
Okay.
So I want to do this one is going to be Penn State American Leeks. Have you talked to everyone about how we use leeks and how we preserve them?
I am not.
You might want to mention
that. So what we found, what we like to use leeks for is leek powder. So last year or the year before, when we weren't really sure, what to do with leeks, and then Sam ended up chopping them up, right, and then drying them.
the greens. So maybe I should tell them all.
Yeah, I don't even know what you did.
So the greens of the leek, which is the upper, where do we have an example? Here we have an example. So a leek, if you are unfamiliar, because I mean, some people don't even, never cooked it, probably, I'm sure. It looks pretty much like an overgrown, massively large, like bunching onion. You have like the white part at the bottom, and then you have this big green part. And if you buy it at the grocery store, you only see it with like the short green part, but it really is like leaves that sprout out of the top.
Yeah.
And it goes crazy. So at first I wasn't sure how to use the green part, but we ended up dehydrating this green part and turning that into onion powder. The bottom part you can also cut up and dehydrate and keep whole, and then just use it as a mix-in for soups or potato and leek soup, which is always the most common. But the powder was a really nice, like a light kind of onion flavor to it. And because it's so large, you get a big amount from just 1 or 2 leeks.
Yeah, I thought you dehydrated the bottom part.
I dehydrated those as wholes, and then like I didn't grind those up like I did the top.
Right.
But also with this, I used the green parts last year for pesto, leek top pesto, and that gives it again a real nice good oniony flavor, and that we freeze.
All right.
So it's all usable.
So you want to use these American leeks and not the other American leeks?
I do want to use these, but these I want to use here. So we're going to do three varieties.
Well, this is the same variety as that, but
I
different.
understand, but it's from a different source.
Right.
Yeah.
So leek seeds, I've found conflicting information on how deep to plant them. The one packet says 1/4 inch, the other packet says a 1.5 inch. The internet has the first thing that came up on Google says 3 to 6 inches. So I'm not really sure. I'm gonna go with 1 inch and see how that works out. And that way I'll remember that for next year. But I'm sure 1 inch will be just fine. And these ones are from Penn State.
So the next one would be the 2. Okay.
Now lose control. So these are broad London leeks from Burpee. And leeks have a long time to harvest. Like these ones are 110 days, and the American leeks I think go to 130 days. So you definitely want to get these planted early. And then these are also cold tolerant, so this is something that you can plant for a fall harvest as well.
Which I think we will try to do that. it does say that they can be pulled before maturity, so you can harvest them at pretty much.
Oh yeah, definitely. But like they'll get really thick. Like
they did. Their leaves get very dirty, very like thin from how they grow. So when you harvest them, you have to wash them, like soak them, wash them multiple times to get them ripped out. There is a ton of seeds in this package.
yeah, it is. It's gonna last a while.
Yeah, that's definitely worth it.
Just one thing in these?
Hmm?
Just one of these?
So we have the white Lisbon bunching, and we have that one. This one says tops remain fresh and crisp well after harvest with bones. I would say do like 12, you know. 1, 2. And you're going done. You done with this one?
Yep, that's empty.
Empty. You're going to do that in all of those.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have to, we can tease these apart.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing here, guys, for the bunching onions is I'm making 4 giblets per cell, and then I'm sowing, you know, a good amount of seeds per hole. With onions, you can kind of, with these bunching onions, they can kind of grow right on top of each other, and that's kind of fine. But with onions in general, you can kind of sow them heavy together, and then you can go in and tease them apart and plant them, separate them and plant them in a pot or something, you know, spaced 1 inch apart or something like that. And these won't have any issue with that at all.
These are also great to dehydrate, powder. I cut the greens as they're growing, and then they regrow.
Am I doing all of these as these ones?
We did decide that we were doing the kale stuff right.
Yeah. Okay.
So another tray done?
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, so we have rosemary, thyme, sage, parsley, oregano, and dill left to plant in this tray. And we're just going to put you on time lapse here. So we're going to get this one done quick. Okay, so that is tray number 4. All planted up. Get it watered in. So it says on the parsley packets to soak the parsley seeds in warm water overnight. I don't think I've ever done that, and I'm pretty sure that I got them to grow last year without any issues. So I'm hoping that that'll be okay. If not, we can always go back again, and if we have a low germination rate, and soak them if we have to and start over, but I'm pretty sure they'll be fine as long as we keep them nice and moist. So that's it for now, right, Sam?
Well, the other thing that we had marked down was
Yep, so we just have kale left to plant. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. We haven't decided how to do that yet since it's the only thing left. We might have to find something else to go with it. So we're going to have to do a little bit of problem solving quick and try to figure out if we're going to start something else with the kale so we can have a full tray. So yeah, or we can wait, so it doesn't really matter, but hope you enjoyed our seed starting today, and thanks for hanging out with us, and stay tuned for more seed starting videos. And I'll have another video of the grow room or the grow area and how I do all that with the lights and everything and the rack. So I'll show you that on a separate video. So see you guys.